Hello, this is Andrea of Geeky Girls Journal, and today is Saturday. I am out and about, and well, not really out and about, but just kind of I'm sitting here waiting. That's what I'm doing. I am waiting in this parking lot for my daughter, and I just saw this reel that prompted me to ask this question. So I thought, hey, why not go live and see what the community thinks about this? So the question that I have for you all in today's video is, have you ever failed to ask the appropriate questions in a relationship? And I know my title doesn't say that, but I can't really see the title right now. So um, this is pretty much the gist of the conversation. Like, have you ever failed to ask appropriate questions in a relationship? And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. So, especially for you singles, right now I'm going to address single people. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Thank you for coming in. So, Jamie, the topic, have you ever, I don't even know what it says. Can you type it for me in the chat? Because I am here this Saturday. I have a few things that are happening today. So I'm actually waiting for my daughter right now on CPR training. So I have about 2 hours left, I guess, because we've been here since 9 o'clock. And I was like, I might as well go live and talk to the community. Yeah, give me some me time. So anyway, the title, have you ever asked questions in the relationship or held back on asking questions in the relationship? Anything along that line. So Jamie says, absolutely. So, all right, I saw this reel earlier, and this is what prompted me to ask the question. And on there were couples on the reel. And of course, this is what a 30-second to 60-second, well, or 0 to 60-second bite. So just kind of going on that and just made me think about it. How could I be helpful if I answered this question for people in my community? And I know a lot of us here are married, but also we have some singles. So, hey, singles. Uh, so anyway, the question was, um, have you ever held back on asking questions in a relationship? And I thought that was important and a great topic. Hey, Ethan, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Now, I want to let you all know something. Of course, I'm on my mobile, so if I'm squinting, that's because I'm trying to see the comments, and I'm going to try to put your comments up here if I can. Hey, OG Brand, thank you for coming in. So let me know if you all can see and hear me. I moved my vehicle 3 times because the first time it was so sunny that you could not even see my face. So I was like, okay, let me move it. The next time it was like this weird glare where the sun was like hitting just the bottom part of my face, and then it was a shadow appeared. I was like, that's not gonna work. So finally we landed here at this spot. So thank you for coming in. Oh, these comments are coming in. Let me see if I can catch up before we get into this topic. Okay, I think everybody's speaking. Brand, did you have your cereal today, and did you watch Tom and Jerry? Yeah, okay. So hey, everybody. I think mostly everybody's speaking. Oh, also, Nightbot is working. Nightbot is working today, Jamie. So you can chill out a little bit. Just monitor Nightbot because we all know what my Nightbot does. But drop GGJ if you want to share your link with others so that they can come by and visit your wonderful page. And that's to everybody and anybody who's listening here right now. And if you replay, you can watch it later. So I think everybody's saying, hey, Geeky Girls, no problem, my sister. Okay, let me scan through the chat. Okay. So my question is, all right, let's just see if the chat, can you answer the question for me? Have you ever, I'm talking to singles, I'm talking to married people, but it could probably be more of a singles question, I guess, because I'm thinking pre-marriage, like relationship, and I'm not in a relationship. Okay, I pressed something. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Good morning, Geeky Girls Journal, and everyone in the chat. Thank you all for joining me. This is so lovely. I mean, just having this conversation with you all. I was just thinking initially, like, let me just go on and see what everybody's doing on a Saturday, but I didn't know if, anybody would join. So I'm glad that I at least have you 7. Good morning, Tamika. Thank you for coming in. I think I spoke to everybody else. East Dead, Jamie. If I didn't, put your name in the chat again, or put some fire so I can make sure I see you. Now I see a comment. Geeky girls, I'm watching Tom and Jerry later. I just came from the store. Oh, okay. You just came from the store, Bram Bram? And he's saying hi to Tamika. What's up, Tamika? Everybody's saying hi. Hey, Lacey. How are you? Thank you for coming in. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So, yeah. So, what do you all think? Okay. So, I know that when I was in, relationships before my marriage and even leading up to my marriage, I've always been the type of person that wanted to know as much as I could about a person before like jumping in. Um, but there have also, if I'm being honest, been some times where I was just kind of like, I'm dating them, and if I didn't think it was going to last, I didn't really ask the appropriate questions. Like I didn't ask a lot of the questions, especially that I think about now as a married person. I definitely didn't ask those questions, and some of those questions could have probably Haley C. Jason. You dancing at Chris Brown's house. Uh, I did not see that, Brayman. I made a mistake and pressed your comment, but I'm glad I put up there. It's going to bring some laughter to this chat. Thanks for you 14 watching. So, yeah, so I was thinking, are you ever afraid to ask those questions that may be a little difficult to ask when you're in a relationship? Or do you just kind of let things linger? Because I'm not really a go with the flow type of girl. Like, I want to know, like I said, as much as I can about that individual, especially now. Like I said, I'm married, so it's a little different. I've been with my husband for, I mean, we've been married 20 years, but together 22, no, 23 years. So, yeah, I think, I've answered all the questions I had to this point. And to be honest with you, when I have questions, if it's something new that we're trying to discover, because of course people change, things change, you change in seasons, you change as you get older, all that stuff. So when that happens, for some reason, I'm seeing, okay, seasons change and things like that. So when that happens, and if I have a question, oh, you better believe I'm asking. I'm asking him some serious questions because I'm also the person that wants to know right now. So if, say, for example, we're going through, I don't know, if we have a misunderstanding and I don't understand why we're having a misunderstanding or I don't understand the context of it, I'm going to ask a question. That's a long time. I know. Well, I know. And you know what the weird thing is? I never really saw myself as somebody who could be with somebody that long. So that's how I knew that it must have been meant to be. Because normally, like I would, even when I was dating, sometimes if somebody was just chewing their food the wrong way, and I know this may sound real petty and real shallow, but if I if you chewed your food the wrong way or did something, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna last. Or even maybe not even that shallow. If you said something that I didn't um see as you being a good potential mate as far as my beliefs, definitely beliefs. I'm gonna say that. Definitely beliefs. So if you said something that came against a lot of things that I believe, oh, that's an instant no, because I'm not wasting my time with somebody and we're not even on the same page. Brand says, Geeky Girls, I was married before. I want to get married again. Okay, I didn't know that about you, Brand. Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, Renee, I'm sorry I didn't see you. Or did I say hi? I can't remember. But either way, hey, Renee, I missed you. Brand said he wants to get married again. Renee, drop your link if you like. It's GGJ, all lowercase letters, East Dad. You can do the same. Brand. Um, Mary Seeley. East Dad, are you coming to his? You are starting up this morning. You Are you saying you married somebody who looked like Seeley, or are you just saying Mary Seeley? Like, can you explain a little bit more? Because I want to assume I don't think you married Seeley, but what I want to say is maybe I'm not reading the comment correctly, so maybe you can elaborate if you don't mind. But Seeley, she had a great heart, like if you're talking about Seeley from The Color Purple, but I'm gonna need you to elaborate a little bit before I go into more detail. Let me see. I'm gonna go to the next comment that is I cannot see these comments. I didn't ask in my old relationship. That's what Renee said. I didn't ask in my old relationship because he always made me feel crazy or stupid. Oh my goodness, that is something that's so common that I hear. You know what? I wish I could remember this percentage on this video that I was listening to. I mean, it was a few days ago too, but they were talking about communication. And I want to go back and listen to it because I want to write the percentage down so that I can tell you all because it was so mind blowing to me. Okay, so I want to say that the person was saying that when you're speaking to somebody, and I'm really big on communication, like for me, it's do you love God? And it's you got to have communication skills. You got to have, and communication skill is not necessarily number two, but that's the one I think about because it's very important. So do you have good communication skills? Because I'm one of those people, I need to talk it out and I need to get some resolve to understand why you said what you said, why you feel the way you feel, not necessarily so that I can get closure, but just so that I can understand where you're coming from. And I think that's fair. So anyway, the podcast video that I was listening to, the person said that when you're speaking to somebody, and I want to do a video on this, so I will, in a context of communication. So they said content was low. It was low, like 7%. Like what you're saying to somebody is only 7% really of communication and what they're hearing. But then body language was it 35%? It was high. It was like 35%. And then tone, which I did a video on, I just never edited. You all know how I am with editing, terrible at trying to catch up. So, and it was saying, so it was those three things. It was content, the content that you're giving, so speaking and verbally saying what it is you have to say or written or whatever it is, communications wise, then it was body language and it was tone. And I am so big on tone. Like if you say things to me in a certain way, I might just tune you out. I might not even hear what you said because if you speak to me in a manner where it just sounds like you're being mean, nasty, overbearing, and controlling, I instantly get triggered. And I am one of those that I will ask the questions first, and if I feel like they're not being answered, then you know what? I don't know. I can't say I walk away all the time because I don't. I will more than likely keep pushing until I get that answer, unless it's somebody that's like, "Hey, I don't want to have this discussion right now. I need a break." Then I'll respect that. Otherwise, I'll keep asking. I ask questions until I get my answers. Okay, Brand says, "Geeky girls, that's a long healthy marriage." There's a little square right there over that um, comment. That's why it's hard for me to see it. You all, sorry. East Dad is laughing at something. Probably the silly comment. Renee Secret Garden, hey. I think I said hi. East Dad, I'm messing with OG. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, OG. Lacey J says, I should keep it down here, then I can read it better. I have a rule. I never ask a question that I'm not ready to hear the answer to. When I'm ready to accept the answer, either outcome. I think that says either Lisa J. I'm sorry if I'm reading that wrong because it's a square right there on the corner. You all probably can't see it, but I can see it, and I can't see that word. So answer uh, the answer affect outcome. I will ask. Let me see if I can read it now from the box. Show me the question. I don't know. I'm sorry, Lisa. I can't even see your comment. But I like the top part of it. I have a rule. I never ask a question that I'm not ready to hear the answer to. Man, I don't know how I feel about that because that's good for you, Lisa. That is, I respect that because maybe you're not prepared to deal with the answer and you might not know how you're going to react. Me, on the other hand, I still want to know the answer to the question. I don't know. How do you all feel about that? Let me know. I wish I could put a poll down here to see because that is a very good. I love that comment that you made, Lisa, a statement. And I'm sure that there are others here that can relate to what you're saying. But I think for myself, I still want to ask the difficult questions because I want the answers. And I feel like at least if I have the answer to your question, I'm sorry. If I have the answer to my question, then I know how to move. I know how to move with you. And if I have the answer, I also have some clarity because now I understand what you're thinking. And if you give me an answer and I'm not fully At the point when I understand what you're saying, I'm going to ask a follow up and probably another follow up and another follow up until I get some clarity. Now, if that person just gets tired of me asking questions, then I don't even know what to tell you. I for me, I would prefer to know because I prefer to have answers to questions, even if it's a hard topic and a hard conversation to have. I want to know. I'd rather know. Let me know if you all would rather know because Lisi brought up a very good point. Thank you so much, Lisi, for participating. I couldn't get my words out. Participating. Yep. I see. Hey, Z. I see her. Night 5. Lisi, did you exactly? Renee said. I don't know if you're saying exactly to what I just said or not because I don't know if I'm keeping up. If I'm doing a good job of keeping up with the chat. Easter, did you chase Stevie Wonder out of Ricky's Molly house? Oh no, Brandon. Okay, see now Brandon and East Dead are in the comment section acting up. Okay, I'm here for it. It's Saturday. What are you all doing Saturday? And we're gonna keep this conversation going because I think it's a good one to have. Yes, he was singing, "Isn't she lovely?" Isn't she lovely? Hey Heather, how are you? Thank you for coming in. I like your live yesterday, Heather. I hadn't seen you live in a while, so I'm glad I was able to catch you. You are um, also very supportive as well as everybody that's in this chat right now. 7 thumbs up. Thank you. Put the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And share this out because maybe it can help somebody else. I like to think that I'm not just on here talking. Sometimes I am, but most of the time most of the time I'm really trying to help you all out if I can, however I can, and just have good conversations because I think when you're having conversations and talking about things, bringing things to light, then somebody who may be in that situation or may face a situation later on will know how to navigate the situation and get past, um, the ups and downs in life. Sometimes there are a lot of things we go through that if we would have heard a conversation beforehand or talked to the right person, it would have prevented us from making. I'll talk about myself. It could have prevented me from making some of the mistakes that I made or going through some of the things that I made. And I do also think that when I go through things, they help me out. They help me to become a better person. Experience is a good teacher, but also if I don't have to experience hardships, I don't want to. If I had information that can keep me from going through those difficult things and those challenges in life, why would I want to go through them? Why would I want to go through them? That's why I actually enjoy having conversations with other people, especially older people who are seasoned. And I'm not just saying that just older people are seasoned and but they have wisdom as actually some of the younger people do. But I'm just saying that particular individual. If I feel like you're informative and it's information that I can use in the future, oh, I'm definitely tuned in and I'm listening and asking questions. I'm definitely asking questions. So Heather, I didn't finish reading your comment. I just have the 7 thumbs up my husband has to put up with me. Can you believe that? Oh, you're a great person, so I don't see that as being an issue. I say what I want when I want. Been together 17 years, married 10. That's awesome. Yay, so the married people in the chat. Hey, married people. So see, you can do it singles, and we've had people who were married that are looking to be married again. So we should have a whole plethora of information in this live today and in this chat because we had these people who are married. And I tend to be the same, Heather. Like my husband, I always say he knew what he was getting into when he knew what he was getting. He knew what he was getting when he married me. I've kind of always been this person, always have been curious about things, and if I wanted to know things, I just ask questions. So he does have to do with me as well. I know exactly what you're talking about. Let me get to the chat because I see that I'm missing a ton. OG Brand. Hi, OG. Everybody speaking. Hey, Heather. Tamika. Hey, David Corey. What's up? David Corey with the cropper. How you doing? I don't know if you're still in here, 1028, because that was a while ago. Hey, Corey. Thank you for coming in. Corey, if you would like to drop your link GGJ, Geeky Girls Journal. So yeah, just put GGJ, you all. Don't worry about the whole geeky thing. You are doing great, Andre. Thank you, Heather. You are so supportive. Wait, not supportive. Encouraging. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm happy to hear that I'll be doing great. Let's see what Renee says before I put her comment up, because I see you all. I can read it here better and then put it up. So I would rather know the answer to anything so I can move accordingly. Yes, that's what I'm saying, Renee. Oh, that was, oh my God. I'm very far behind it. That was a comment you just left, because I know I was talking about that a while ago, wasn't I? Yeah, everybody's speaking. But yes, I'd much rather know too. I mean, call me a glutton for punishment, but or not. Don't call me a glutton for punishment. Call me somebody who wants to be well informed, because I think that's what it is. I want to be well informed. I want to know you so well that I can pretty much predict what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And I think that's comfortable for me. If I know you, your character, what you like, if I really had a chance to study you and um ask all the questions, I mean, like everything that I can think of, then I know how to move better. I know how to respond to certain things around you. Not respond, because I want to respond the way that I respond. I know how to, okay, I got a better one. I know how to construct the conversation, because say, for example, you said something. Or I'll use my husband for example. Let's just use my husband for example. Say my husband and I have a disagreement, and then he says something, and then I have an issue with it, and I want to get more information. So I already know that um, if my husband is having a bad day, and I'm just throwing examples out here, if he's having a bad day, I know from the time he comes in the house, okay, this is what he looks like. His demeanor's a little off, or he might be speaking, he might be a little quieter. He might not have a lot to say. So I know if it's something that I have a question to, and I'm telling you all, most of the time, if it's something that's pressing me, I still want to ask, and I just got to be like, okay, contain it. Don't say nothing right now. So I know I'm wise enough now to know that I need to wait a little while. Wait, give it a little bit of time. Don't just immediately jump right on. I'm like, hey, I need to know why you didn't do blah, 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 or whatever the situation is. So instead of coming right in, because I think that's probably where men get nagging from. And I never like that word nagging, because I always feel like, why is it nagging? Why do people call it nagging when you're really just trying to ask questions to figure things out? Or you're really just generally concerned about that person? Like, why does it have to be nagging? Can somebody answer that question? Men, because I see men in this chat. Why? And I'm not saying you all, but I know you've heard that term nagging. So why do people call it nagging? Why? If I just want to ask you questions, and I want to be more informed, and I want to understand how to better navigate the situation. So how else do you know how to do that unless you're asking questions? Hey, 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 thank you for coming in, MC. Happy New Year to you too. Thank you. I hope you are enjoying it, because we are how many days in? 27 days in. Can you all believe how fast the time is flying? Because for me, it's zipping right past. I mean, it's about to be February. It's really about to be February. So yeah, we have a few days of David Corey speaking to everybody. Mr. Corey, OG Brand. Good morning, Lacey. So yeah, what do you all think about that? Do you think, guys, while I'm catching up, I'm 6 minutes behind. Do you all think that I'm 6 minutes behind in the chat? So let me clarify that. David Corey, what's up? Everybody's saying what's up. Lacey J. Okay, here we go. Lacey has a comment 4 minutes ago. I agree. I usually ask the non-negotiable questions first. Very nice. That's a good one, Lacey J. But some questions don't pop up until later. And I'm like, God, prepare me for the answer. Yeah, because sometimes you may be in your own way. Wow. That's a good way to think about it. So what I say to that is, God, prepare me for the answer. But some questions don't pop up until later. Some questions don't pop up until later. Okay, so I am similar in a sense, and I might have said this already, where I will ask the questions as I think about them. And then also, you like you said, you ask the non-negotiable questions first. For me, it should have been in all my relationships, but I don't think it was until marriage. Well, until like right before marriage. Like, do you believe in God? Just kind of with a lot of people that I dated, I kind of knew um, their backgrounds before, so I never really had to ask that question. If they believed in God, I knew that they believed in God. Some of them may not have had a real strong relationship because I know when I was dating when I was younger, I believed in God. I always believed in God, but my relationship definitely is not where it is today. Like, we're talking about nowhere, nowhere. Like, we're talking about reading the Bible. I was like, okay, I know I heard this scripture in church and that's gonna work for me. I'm gonna, I read the Bible. I think I told you all like before, if I had a nightmare or something like that, my mother would be like, read the Bible. And I would read the Bible and it put me right to sleep. So like I got probably maybe 4 or 5 verses in before it was like lights out. And which raises a question for me right now while I'm thinking about it. I I'm just thinking, sometimes if I was supposed to read that Bible, if I really got into reading the Bible when I was younger, like I should have, I would have had more clarity about certain situations sooner. And also, maybe I would have been able to figure out those tough things in my life that I went through. And also, I would have really, 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 really um, known who I was as a child of God. And I know I'm not going to try to make this a preaching thing, but it just made me think about something. Like I would have really known. I think maybe that was the way of distracting me so that I couldn't figure it out at a young age. And that's on me because I should have definitely did more reading, but I didn't. So yeah, I got off. I digress, Lacey. Sorry, but God prepared me for the answer. That's all. You know what? I think that all the time. God prepared me. God definitely prepared me for the answer. God, how about this one? God gave me the words to say because sometimes I know I'm a little headstrong and I might come right in like, whatever it is on my mind, I might just say it. But what I have done in some situations, especially as I get older, is if I had the time to sit here and think about it, because like I said, sometimes people don't want to be confronted right at that moment. So when I had time to think about what just happened instead of jumping right in, I can ask God, God, temper my words. Um, Give me the right words to say because I know words are important and words hurt regardless of what people say. Words can be scarring and lasting. So, Lord, give me the right words to say to that person so that I don't just come in hot because I might come in hot and we all know how that tongue is. So, if I come in hot and I say things just out of anger or out of some type of deficiency that I had because I didn't know how to say it the proper way, or just because I wanted to hurry up and get it off my chest, it might not be received that well. But I know that when I actually have time to sit and think about what just happened, I'm not just looking at it from my viewpoint, but I can look at it from the viewpoint of the other person. And it gives me time to like really think about what happened, how I can move forward, and most importantly, I'm able to ask God to calm me down. That's what it is first. First, calm me down because I might have been so worked up and so upset that I saw fire. I saw flames. And I know it's not always good to like address somebody when you're in the heat of the moment, but sometimes it happens. You say things you say, and I just try to be mindful of the words I use because you can't take those words back. So I don't now that I'm talking this out, it may be better to like if you can't control yourself in that moment and think about, the right words to say. And I know you don't always have time to do this, but if you do, then it's probably best to stop, take a pause, take a deep breath. I mean, that means if you gotta go sit in a corner or if you have to woosah, if you gotta go take a ride, just be careful doing that because you don't want to ride while you're angry either. Um, because I was driving like a few months ago and there was this lady visibly upset and she was right in back of me and she was crying and crying and crying. And all I'm doing is looking in my rearview mirror thinking, please don't let her hit me, because she was driving and crying at the same time. And I mean, crying, her head was down. I was just like, Lord, please don't let this lady hit me. So that's what I mean by being upset. Like, don't be so upset that you're driving and you are not making wise choices, not for yourself and not for anybody else. So yeah, God give me the words to say to that person so that they can receive it, and also give me the words to say so I don't have to take it back and be like, oh, I'm sorry because I said it this way and I really meant it to come out in this way. Okay, let me look at the chat. So thank you again, Lisa. God prepare me for the answer, because sometimes you may be in your own way. Zion says that is definitely you being curious about things. Yes. David Corey says yes. Yes, yes, yes. 10:33. That was 10 minutes ago. Ooh. Thank you for dropping your link, David. I think yep, it dropped. I guess you don't have to have uppercase or lowercase. That's a good thing to know. Married 17 years, together for 22. Hey, I love it. That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Heather. So we have some, wow, when we say we have some married couples in here, we have some married couples in here. And that's not a shot against singles, because there is a ministry in being single. Remember we said that? David Corey is saying hi to people. I overthink sometimes. So that's why I said that. Yeah, I do too. I do too. I definitely, I can go either way. Sometimes I'm, I don't want to say I'm led by emotions, but I can say sometimes if when I'm in the moment, and if somebody says something, I try my best to um, filter my words and think about the way that I'm going to say something. I do also try to take a deep breath, but I don't always get that deep breath in. So I might just come. And sometimes people aren't ready for that, not ready to be confronted. But most times, I will just say what it is that I have to say. But other times, I do try to stop and just to recenter. And like I said, I try to pray about it when I have the time. Lord, help give me the words to say to this person, because I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to say something that can be, I know you all probably hear that car next to me. Hopefully you can still hear. I don't want to say something that's going to be damaging to that person. So I try not to. Zion is speaking uh, to everybody. So I try not to. So I definitely, when I have the time, like I said, if I am able to pause in a conversation, I will try to calm myself down and, think about the most effective way to speak to that person. And again, I think that might go along with personality. If I definitely know the person I'm talking to, that's helpful, because I know what their triggers are, and I do try to be cognizant of that. But sometimes if you're in a conversation or debating, all those things are not working together all the time. And sometimes, you just address the situation, however you address the situation. And I think, what I do when I address the situation is, if I want to come back and clarify some things, I do. If I want to come back and add to it, I do. If I want to come back and say, hey, you know what, you were right. I thought about it, and this is the conclusion I've come up with, then I will do that. So, yeah. Brand says, Geeky Girls, I'm very patient for the next marriage. Yeah, Brand, you know what I think? As you are waiting, you are probably going through some transformative things that is going to help you out in your next marriage. And because you were married before, you may know how to do things differently. Like, there are probably some situations that you were in your previous marriage that you probably wouldn't do in your next marriage. At least that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the situation is, so it could go either way. Now, Renee says, my husband's sitting beside me. He said nagging is when the person keeps going, like beating a dead horse. Oh, yes. Oh, man. Oh, Renee, I'm so far behind. I know when I asked that question a long time ago. Yeah, and when they keep asking, like, beating a dead horse. But, okay, if your husband's still by you and he said that, I get it. I get it. Um, I don't like when people beat a dead horse. Like, just say what you got to say and leave it. But I think if we go along with his interpretation, it's like beating a dead horse. Maybe that person keeps saying it because they feel like the person is not listening to them, or the person didn't respond. They're not being responsive. I've been in that situation before where I feel like my husband didn't hear what I said, or maybe he was doing something else when I said it, so I repeated it. And if I didn't get the response, I'm like, I'll say it again. He's like, "Oh, I heard you," and I'm like, "Well, you didn't respond. How was I supposed to know?" So maybe we wouldn't have to use that term nagging if I'm saying if I'm just saying. So don't come for me, husbands. I'm just saying if your wife or your significant other or your girlfriend or whomever, because I know that women, in my experience, um, have more words. We're a little bit more wordy. So knowing that we're more wordy and we're probably going to ask more questions because we want stability, we want to be comfortable, we want to be secure. And I'm just telling you all how I am or my experience is. So this might not apply to everybody. It's not one size fits all. But if you answer that person in a way that they can hear what you said and they understood it, then they wouldn't have to ask 500 times. But if they ask you and you just keep going about your day, like you ain't hear nothing, then they feel like you're ignoring them. So now they got to ask you again, and they might have to ask you again and again, because what we want, men, we just want to have the answer to our question. That's it. And we'll move on. We go on about our happy little lives. We're not going to keep bothering you. So if you don't want to, let me give you a tip, fellas. If you don't want your woman to nag you, answer her the first time. That's it. Answer her the first time and make sure she hears you. Give her some eye contact. Like, if you're working, I understand you work. I understand you have things going on. You just a lot of things happening in our lives, and sometimes it's hard to shut off that switch. But just if you have your head down, put your head up for a second. Just look at her. Look at her in the eyes and say, whatever it is, answer the question. And she won't ask you anymore. Try it. I'm telling you, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Yep. Had to say yep to probably what K Renee said. Not K Renee. That wasn't K Renee, was it? That was Renee's Secret Garden that said that about her husband, which was very helpful. Thank you. Official Jamie saying, "Hey to everybody." Let me see. I'm cleaning in the bushes. Well, thank you for cleaning and being in the bushes, Jamie. Okay. GGJ, thanks for dropping your link, Lisi. I see it. Thank you, Jamie, for dropping your link. Do I see it? Let's see. K Renee says 100. Yeah, all right. See, so Renee, not K Renee. Oh my goodness, I keep doing that because it's a K Renee and it's a Renee. So Renee's Secret Garden, she agrees 100%. Any other ladies that agree? Lisi, do you agree? Jamie, do you agree? Who else agrees with what I'm saying? Men, I don't know. Do you agree or disagree? And this, I shouldn't just say women, because I guess there are men that are the same. I just don't know, because I'm not a man, first of all. And I can't really say how men will respond to certain things. I'm just telling you how I respond to certain things, and hopefully it's helping somebody out. But I just tend to think if you answer the person, whether it's answering the question itself or saying, I really don't feel like answering that question right now, or can you give me a little bit of time? Um, can I circle back? Can we talk about it later? It, Answer like that if you don't really feel like answering the question. And I think any of those things are appropriate for you getting your point across and saying, hey, I just don't want to talk about it right now. Okay, well, I'll wait and I'll ask later. I'm going to ask again. So you might as well answer. So that's that. So what about anything else? Like, have you ever had any questions that were pressing on you while you were in a relationship, that you said, man, I should have asked that question? For me, I think with some of my relationships before I got married, I'm thinking um, of some strong questions, because I think when you don't ask the appropriate questions and then further down the line you see the product of not asking that question. And like Lisa said earlier, sometimes you just don't think about it. Like, sometimes you just don't even know what question to ask, because every question might not apply to every person, but once you're in a relationship with that particular person, now you know what their habits are, you know what their expectations are, or you should know what their expectations are, you know more about them. So you might have a completely different question to ask that person than you had um, to ask the person before, right? So it just kind of varies. But what I will say to those of you who are listening, to those of you who are looking for a relationship that have not been in a relationship before or a serious committed relationship before, I want to say again, if I have not said it before, ask the tough questions. Ask questions about if you're a person that believes, if you're a believer, you want to ask that person what their relationship is with God. Yes, it might be tough, but at least you're going to find out the answer to that very important question. And it might be the deal breaker. Like Lisi said, non-negotiables. If that's a non-negotiable for you, if you want that person to also be a believer, then you got the answer to that question. Ask them, are you? You know, do you believe in God? What are your feelings? And not just God, like what God? Because there are so many. But who do you believe in? Do you believe in the Father, Son, Holy Ghost? Like, ask, be specific in asking your questions. I cannot stress that enough. Don't say it in a roundabout way because people are not psychic. Some people have the gift and they can discern things and they can, you know, see things. It's called prophecy. But you don't want to assume things. Ask them in detail. Ask them like it's somebody that you weren't dating. Say that you had a sister that were dating that person. Wouldn't you want wouldn't you, for your sister's sake or your brother's sake, want them to have all the information before they got into a relationship with that person? So ask them like you would ask them, because that person, you had nothing invested. You know, right now, if you're in a relationship with a person, you're like, okay, I might not want to ask them. It might make them uncomfortable. Forget the making the person uncomfortable. Would you rather being uncomfortable now? Would you rather risk being uncomfortable now and paying the price later? Or would you rather ask the question now and prevent something that could happen in the future? Me, now that I know, I would ask the questions, the hard questions, and I would definitely be really specific with what I'm looking for. Do you believe in Jesus? Okay, boom. Yes. All right, next. So we can move on. If you said no, that would have been the end. That would have been a deal breaker, because I don't want to be with somebody who does not have a foundation in the same thing I believe, because that's going to be a clash. That's going to be a conflict of interest. When I want to go to church, you're not going to want to go to church. Or when I talk about Jesus, you might look at me crazy. It won't work. It wouldn't work. So some of you, that might not be a deal breaker. You might say, hey, I'll do it. All right, fine. Next, you might want to ask about finances. I mean, that's not a big deal for some people, but some people like to live a specific way. So ask them about their finances, and then you make that choice. Ask them about their relationship with their family. Is that something? Yeah, Jamie, let me put this on the screen. That popped right up, right in time. You have to be equally yoked. That's what I think too. And I think also, now I know also, when you're equally yoked, it will make things so much easier, because while you're while you still have two people who have two different opinions and two different perspectives on life or whatever, if you're equally yoked, let's say that you both believe in God, then at least you know, if you're a woman, that you have a potential spouse or a boyfriend or whatever it is that has God as the head of their life, right? So even if you have a disagreement, you know that that person is going to seek God for the answers. You know that that person is going to try to do what's best for the relationship, because if they're a God-fearing man or a God-fearing woman, they're not just going to let just anything come out of their mouth, right? They're going to seek wise counsel. They're going to ask for the Father's help, because what we do know is that we're not perfect. I'm definitely not. We're imperfect, all of us. So we do need that help. We need that assistance from God. And if you're with somebody who is a believer, as you are, then you're going to eventually come to a conclusion that's going to be beneficial for both of you. If you seek the head first, that's the clue. If you seek the head of your life first. So, in all things, you can go to the Father about anything, anything. And if you go to the Father about anything, number one, you won't be afraid to ask the hard questions. You won't be afraid to have those tough conversations because you can ask Him to guide you and to help you in those situations and to, guide your tongue and to help you to navigate those tough spots. And there are tough spots because, again, I said you're two different people trying to work things out. So if you have God as your head, you go to God, you go to the Father to ask for some clarity, to ask for some assistance, some resolution. Even, and I know there are some times when you just don't even know what to say. Somebody says something, you're just like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to respond to this because, like Lisa said, maybe you weren't prepared for their answer. I mean, you can't know, you can't predict the future. So you might not have been prepared. So you're like, okay, how do I respond to this? How do I move? Right? So I say, get wise counsel. Go to God first. Go to God first. Before I was in a more mature relationship with God, I would like that. And sometimes I still like I have a mom, a sister, an aunt. Like I have some really close knit people in that I have relationships with, and I can go to them, and they're married, all of them. That I can go to them with specific issues and maybe just give them a general idea or specific. It just depends, and just say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And while you're doing that, you don't have to take everything that person says because they're in a different relationship. Their relationship is different from yours, and they might be coming from their perspective of things that they have been through in their specific relationship. But what you do is take pieces of what they say that applies to your situation and that can help you through the specific situation. Did I miss somebody? No. Yeah, so what you do is you just take that information and you say, hey, if I do this, if I apply it in this way, then this is going to help me to grow. And it's also going to help out with the situation. Like maybe they gave you a perspective and you didn't see it that way. So now you're like, okay, well, I never thought about it that way. So now I know I can do XYZ, right? Okay. So am I still on topic? Have you ever, oh, yeah, I am. Have you ever, I don't know, something about questions. So what do you all think about, um, what do you all think about what I just said? Do you go to others to kind of help you figure out situations, or do you just tend to kind of say, okay, I'm in this relationship with this person, so I'm going to deal with it? And you should, because you're still also going to deal with the situation, even if you get counsel, wise counsel. That's the key word, wise counsel from somebody else, because um, you're still gonna have to deal with the situation. So, do you go to that person and just say, hey, this is the thing, blah blah blah, lay it out? And like I said, sometimes you can be as detailed as you want. You don't need to go giving all the business with everything, but you say what you need to say to that specific person as comfortable as you are with them. You had that conversation. So do you just ask them, or do you, like I said, do you kind of just hide it in your heart and try to figure it out for yourself? Do you try to figure out everything for yourself and say, hey, you know what? This is my situation. I'm going to deal with this. I'm just curious. What do you do? Do, 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 do. Hi, David. I don't know if I've seen you here before, but thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. David, if you want, you can type the word, not word, type the letters GGJ in the chat, and then you can drop your link so that other people can connect with you if you'd like. No stress. So David says, always remember, even therapists talk about you. Move in silence. So if I'm understanding what you're saying, David, do therapists, because I have not been to one, Do they say move in silence? They say don't share? Or do they say, okay, do they say don't share your issues with others? Or do they say try to consult somebody? Or does it vary? Because maybe you can help us out, help somebody out and hear that. And I also want to make sure I'm interpreting your statement properly. Always remember, even therapists talk about you move, maybe moving in silence. So I'm going to wait and then I'll say something else because I want to make sure I understand you correctly. Thank you so much, David, for feeling comfortable enough to share that because I think, like I said, I think this is your first time here. So thank you for jumping in. I love it. Thank you for jumping in the conversation. So what do you all think? I'm going to leave David's statement there. I'm just going to leave it there. We're going to leave it. Let it settle. Let it marinate. What do you think? Always remember, even therapists talk about you moving in silence. So while I'm waiting, hey, Sweet Thumb, how are you? Sweet Thumb at Geek Girls Journal. If you want to drop your link, type GGJ. And as I've seen in this chat today, it can be lowercase or uppercase. So just drop it like it's hot. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Sweet Thumb also said hey to the chat. So what do you all think about what David said? What do you all think about what David said? He said therapists even said therapists talk about you moving in silence. So I can definitely say that. All right, if I can speak while he's getting the rest of his thoughts together, if he's willing to share, I think what I would extract from that comment is maybe you should move in silence because number one, you don't want to tell everybody your business. Now, I'm going to say you don't want to tell everybody your business. That is definitely number one. But I'm talking about people that you trust, like those people that have been through the fire with you. Not literally. I'm talking about been through the fire. Um, know you, like you feel like they know you in and out. I'm talking about somebody that literally knows me in and out. Like we grew up together, we live in the same household, we're siblings. That person knows my character. That person knows. They usually have very, which is strange. They usually have the same thoughts that I have for most things. Um, so I know that she's probably going to be thinking about things that would help me out in certain situations and help me to come to some type of conclusion. So I'm talking about people like that that you trust, and that you know that God has placed in your life and that you can go to get wise counsel, not just going to somebody to agree with you and say, oh yeah, I agree with you because I know. No, listen to what I said, and then I want you to interpret it and to come up with a conclusion and to answer it the way that you think or thought that I should have handled it, or give me another perspective. So I want to go to somebody who can, number one, listen, um, number two, has wise counsel. And they might not be able to answer at that moment. They might say, you know what, I want to think about it first, and then I want to come back to you. And I can appreciate that because they're really going to be putting thought into what I said to help me out. So I want to think about what you just said, and then I want to give you an answer. I'm talking about those kind of people, not just the kind of people who are like your yes person that's like, oh, yeah, no, they're not always the most helpful because what if you're wrong in a situation and then they say, yeah, you're right, but even they really, but they, while they were saying you were right, they really thought you were wrong. I want somebody who thinks about the situation that I'm bringing to them, and then they have their own thoughts and they say, you know what, I can see why you felt this way. However, I would do it this way, or however, I think about it like this, and then now I have another way to look at it, that I might not have thought about before, right? And I saw that Nightbot is saying something to Ray, so she came in. I gotta find you, Ray. Oh, hey, there you are, Ray. How are you today? It's a lovely Saturday morning. It's still morning. It's 11:06. Okay, my phone is okay. It's still charged 59%. I'm good. So Ray says, "Hi, Geeky in chat. I do both, but maybe David's saying For example, if you want to divorce someone, you just up and disappear because if you confront them, they turn cray cray. I don't know. I'm putting that up there, right? I had to read it in the box first because I can't see it as well when it's on a small screen. I can see it, but it's like a little square right there, so it prevents me. But yeah, that might be, maybe that's what he was talking about. Thank you, Ray, for your perspective. Definitely something to think about. Look, I can see my eyes over the box. It's so funny. Hey, y'all. Hey, Geeky in chat. I do both. I want to read it again. But maybe David's saying, for example, if you want to divorce someone, you just up and disappear because if you confront them, they turn cray cray. Hmm. Hmm. I I've definitely heard of situations like that happening. Very unfortunate. Um, very alarming. Very. There is another word that I want to use. That's scary also because if you were married to this person before, because it says you if you want to divorce somebody, if you were married to this person before and then you want to say something, um, you want to say something, but you feel like you're not in a safe space to be able to talk to this person because they might, flip out on you or go cray cray. That's disheartening because while I know people like that exist, it's just, man, if I had a relationship with you or if I'm in a relationship with you, I want to be able to be as expressive as I can. I want to be able to share my ins and outs with you. I want to be able to, you should, if you're in a relationship with somebody, to me, that should be the person that knows you better than anybody. I want you to be my best friend. I want you to be my best friend. That's first. Because if you're my best friend, I can come to you with any situation and I can say it how I say it. I don't have to really filter it out and I don't have to feel like I'm going to be judged by you. But if you're in a relationship where you feel like if you say something to somebody and they might flip out, it might be best for you just to disappear and not have that conversation. Because if you know that they already a little insane in the membrane, you might want to just be like, what was that movie with J Lo? Enough? By like she was just packing stuff, packing. It was another movie too. I saw. I can't remember the name of it. It's an old movie. But you might be making that exit strategy long before that person found out you actually exited. You know what I mean? Like you might have that bag packed that's already in the closet or already in your vehicle under something that they don't even know is being packed. They might be at a friend's house. You might be like, hey, it's time and I'm dipping and you might have to move in silence. You might have to disappear. So if you're in a situation like that and you feel like you need to disappear. You don't owe that person, you don't owe that person anything. If they are harming you, I'm talking about verbally, physically, and I'm just throwing out things, if they're harming you, goodbye. I don't need to give you a reason why I'm leaving. Like, get to a safe place, and then if you want to have a conversation with that person, go ahead and do it. You can give them some closure by saying, "Yeah, I left you because blah blah blah. I left you because you were crazy. I left you because you, whatever your situation is, fill in the blank." But if you feel like that person is a threat to you, get out of town. Get by. I wouldn't even need anybody to uh, convince me to stay because my health, my sanity, all of that is more important. And then also I hear stories where, people don't leave situations because they feel like they don't want to be alone or they feel like they can't make without that person. Oh, you can make it. You made it before that person, right? You were alone before that person. Like they entered your life before they entered your life. You didn't have anybody. You didn't have them specifically. So that tells me that you can do without them if they're not meaning you any good. You don't need them in your life. Goodbye. So thank you for bringing it up. If that person is, doing something damaging or you know um, a physical threat to you, get out. That's all I'm going to say about that. Get out, and you know what? Have those conversations. Talk to God. Talk to whoever you need to talk to, a therapist to, get your mind right. Hello, Cornfed. Thank you for coming in. Feel free to drop your link down there if you want. You don't have to, but I'm just saying, if you'd like to link up with all these awesome people in the comment section, they're all awesome. The ones that I've seen that came in, at least that I know, that's everybody, Sweet Thumb, everybody. So drop your link, drop the letters GGJ, stands for Geeky Girls Journal. So GGJ is not case sensitive, capital or lowercase. Drop it so that others can connect with you in the chat. And for those who will be rewatching, this video can also connect. How about that? The gift that keeps on giving. Thank you for coming in, Cornfed. Cornfed, I've seen you before years ago, I think. I'm pretty sure I did. And thank you, Ray, for sharing that. I appreciate it. I love all this engagement. You all, I thrive on your comments. Let's see. Uh-oh, I should have read it before I put it up here because you all know I'm about to squint. I can't even really see. It's a glare. Okay, so it says, I'm hearing sometimes you need to say stuff out loud, but some things you never take back. Be careful what you say to strangers, even those who are supposed to have your best interest in mind. Oh, no, I agree with that, Sweet Thumb. Yeah, I do. I definitely agree with what you're saying about the strangers part. And sometimes you do need to say things out loud. I definitely, like, I would not lie to you all and say I don't, because I definitely say things out loud. Um, Especially if it's somebody I'm comfortable with. If it's a new person, no, I tend to kind of be me regardless. I might take a little bit more caution. I am more cautious around people I don't know. I will say that I am cautious. I'm more observant and watchful what I say. I might want to watch and see how the situation looks first, but I agree with the some things you can, yeah, that's why I said some things you can never take back. That's why I said early on, you don't, if you have time to think about what you say before you say, you should definitely take that moment, because sometimes if you just blurt things out, it might not have come out the way that you wanted to say it, or it might not have come out the way that you were thinking about saying it, kind of the same thing. And then when you say that specific thing, it can definitely crush the other person who is receiving it. So you do have to try to be mindful, because you're going to have to be accountable for what you say. And so I say, don't be careless. Try not to be careless in your conversations. And I know some people might just be like, I'm a hothead. If you make me mad, I'm going off. I'm saying it. I'm clapping back. Yeah, fine. Go ahead. Do what you clap back. Go ahead, clap back. Go ahead. Say what you got to say. But you better believe if that person wants to address you about what you said and how you said it, you're going to have to be prepared for the repercussions of whatever it is that you said. And you might have to be accountable for some things. Like, everything that you said in anger might have been true, but did you say it in love? Did you consider that person? Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't. Like, sometimes when you just have to say what you have to say, it may just come out. But perhaps you should have waited to calm yourself down first and thought about it. And like I said, I try to do this now more, especially since I'm a little older. I try to calm myself down. If I had to stop and pause, take a deep breath, and then in my mind, I might not say it out loud, but I'm thinking, Lord, give me the words to say to this person. Don't let me go off on this person. I'll say that, Lord, please don't let me go off on this person, because I know that's easy to do. It's easier to go off on somebody. It is. To me, it's easier to go off on somebody as opposed to holding your tongue and not saying those things that you can very well say to chop that person down. So for me, as for Andrea, for me and my house, me and what I got going on in here, my heart, I have to say, Lord, help me. Help me to say the right things. Help me to say the things that you want me to say. And I just pray to this instant, because I don't want to be the reason why somebody's damaged. I just want to say things that are decent and in order. And I do want to get my point across. So I do want that person to understand why I said what I said. And I want that person to understand how they made me feel. I want that person to have all those feels. So I'm still going to say it, but I just want to say it decently, in order, and say it in a way that that person can receive it. So that's usually my prayer while I'm having that conversation, because I already know what I'm capable of. I already know how I can dig into somebody. I already know because I know that words are powerful. I know how to use words for the most part. I'm not perfect, but I do know that what I say could have the potential of hurting somebody's feelings if I don't stop and think about what I'm saying. Now, most of the time, I I do live with this rule. I generally try to treat people the the way that I want to be treated. Sorry if I went out you all. I don't know if my battery life is going down. Yeah, I try to treat people the way that I'd like to be treated. Now, if you show me something different, if I'm treating you kind and I'm being respectful and I'm trying to do all the things and then you are coming at me sideways, mm-mm. I'll first tell you, hey, you might want to watch it. I might just give you a warning. I might first my face will tell it all. If you say something, I'm looking and my face is going to say something and then I will tell you. But if I feel like you're somebody who may not be able to receive it at that moment, and it just depends on the situation, I might hold it for a second. But if you're somebody who would keep going, oh, it, it's going to eventually, you're going to eventually know what the problem is, unless God says to me, be quiet, be quiet, hold it in. I've been in situations like that before where I wanted to light into somebody and I knew I was well within my rights, well within the boundaries of lashing out and saying how I wanted to say it. And God said, be quiet. And I was like, really? This time, God, you want me to be quiet? He was just like, be quiet. Don't say anything. And I listened. Where before I might have been like, I think I'm just hearing things. God didn't say that. I'm going in. And then I was like, man, afterwards, when I thought about it, I was like, so look, this mess you caused, was it really worth it? Like you said it, but you probably should have kept it in for that moment. Like maybe I should have said it later on, but I had to deal with those consequences because I decided to jump in. But when I've listened to the voice of God and I'm getting better as I get older at hearing his voice, when I hear that small, still, that soothing, quiet voice, I know, Andrea, no matter how bad you want to say it, you might not want to say that right now. You might just want to put a cap on it. Just muzzle your mouth. And I know, like, whatever I got to do. And I'm like, mm. And that person can probably see it all over my face because I'm like, mm. But I'm not going to say anything. And I say, Lord, just keep me so I don't say anything because, woo, it's tough out there. Sometimes it's tough. Okay, I have all these notifications coming on. Sorry. Oh, Ray, I see. What about you didn't think they would become cray cray, but it happens in this. Oh no, what happened? No. Okay, I just gonna have to go on the screen. I pushed it by mistake. But it happens, and this counselor says move in silence because sometimes the unexpected happens. What about you didn't think they would become cray cray, but it happens. And this counselor says move in silence because sometimes the unexpected happens. Oh, okay. So if you didn't know they were cray cray and they were cray cray, oh man, that's something to deal with. If you didn't know somebody is cray cray and then they just flip the switch on you and they are cray cray, protect yourself. That's what I say for the first part of that. And then the counselor says move in silence because sometimes the unexpected happens. Move in silence then. If that person cray cray and they came out of the bag on you and you were like, well, I didn't expect this. So they might, I don't know what their potential, like what they could do in the future. So I would say if you're ever in a situation where you feel fearful or you feel like your life could be in danger, get out of there. Good. Like I said before, goodbye. Move in silence. You don't have to say anything to anybody. Goodbye. Just go until you feel like you're in a safe space. And then, if you're in that safe space and that person can't locate you and you feel like I want to have this conversation now, go ahead if you want. I'm not a therapist. It's just my thoughts for right now. These are my thoughts for right now, for today. If I feel like that person is cray cray and I didn't know they were cray cray, but they came out of a bag on me and I felt like I didn't need to ask the questions and that this is a part of this discernment. If I feel like I don't need to further question you because you cray cray, right? You came out of this bag. Now I'm like, what triggered this person? Like, what made them do this? What made them think that? So what I'm gonna do is say I did want to ask a question, and then you showed me that you were further cray cray. I mean, you just like confirmed it. Then I know how to move. I know how to move, and it's going to be in silence. I don't need to say anything else. I know what I have to do. If I feel like you're a threat to my life, or if I have kids, if they're in the picture or anything of that nature, I'm not going to wait around and see that you. I don't want to see what the extent of cray cray is. Like if I feel like your cray cray is cray cray enough for me to leave at this moment, I'm going. I'm going. I'm watching you. I'm watching your steps. I'm looking, I'm observing when is the best time for me to roll out, when is appropriate. I already got my bag packed, I'm going. And the therapist said, move in silence, because sometimes the unexpected happens. And sometimes the unexpected does happen because you don't know what you don't know, you might not know what that person is capable of. So, yeah, if you need to move in silence, the therapist told you that, but you don't always need a therapist to tell you that. If you feel like that person is a danger and is a cray cray off their rocker, whatever you want to call it, get out of there. Why wait? Uh, Ray says she agrees with thumb. Sweet thumb. Why do I feel like I said that wrong? True. You made it before that person. Okay. ASR. Hi. I didn't see you come in because I was so busy talking and not paying attention to the chat. So thank you for coming in. I don't know what. I think that's probably troll or something. I don't know. Thank you for dropping your link, Cornfed. Cornfed said, 10 minutes ago. I'm always 10 minutes behind. Cornfed Life says, yep, we've been YouTube friends for a minute. Don't think I've caught one of your lives before, though. I'm so glad you were able to catch one today, Cornfed, and keep on, keep coming and showing up and, letting us know what your thoughts are. Tamika, hey, Sweet Thumb, and ROS. Sweet Thumb saying, hello, everybody speaking. Hey, Jay. Yeah, I see. I know you liked and shared me out. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jay. Jay said, hey to everybody in the chat 10 minutes ago, so I know you all saw that. I'm just late, as usual, on the chat. Sorry. I'm working on getting better. I'm going to get better this year, 2024. I'll get better. So I have to probably start at certain points when I'm talking, just stopping and saying, hey, let me address the chat, because what you all have to say is important. And that's Nightbot. Okay. Nightbot, yeah, I see you. I see you. Cornfed said, amen. And I know it says Cornfed. Like, I'm real good about like saying the first part of somebody's YouTube name and that's it. So if I say Cornfed, it might just be corn. That's why. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just saying it because it's faster for me to do it that way. Ray, see, like I call Ray of Sunshine Ray, and as far as I know, she's never had a problem with that. Ray of Sunshine says damage control, so true. Calm down. Then said words can build as well as take down. Yeah. Yes, words definitely can build. Like you can build a person up um with the words that you speak. Like I call that speaking into somebody's life. Like you can encourage people, remind them who they are. And you know what? Sometimes, and when you reminded somebody of who they are, you know what? I found more powerful as I got older. Really, not listening to who other people wanted me to be and not their thoughts. Hey, you're gonna be this, you that, you that. I realized when I got older, I wish I would have thought about it when I was younger. I had to realize who God said I was, because sometimes people's thoughts of you, they fluctuate. Um, they have People are fickle. Like, I mean, that's just the truth. And they might be with you one day and might not like you the next. So they might say, hey, you're the best thing in the world, oh, I love whatever about you. You're beautiful, you blah blah blah. And they can really pump your head up sometimes. And then you see them a week later and they're like, they might can't even stand the ground you walk on. So I realized that, and I don't really hold a whole lot of weight on what somebody else thinks about me. I don't, I don't, I don't. I know what I think about myself, and I try to go with that. I think I'm a wonderful person. I think I'm a nice person to know. I think I'm, loving. I think I try to be kind. I think I I know I'm loved by God. I know I'm loved by my parents and my siblings. I know that I try to be the best person that I can be. I know that with God, I am nothing. I know that it's impossible to live without God. I'm just throwing the things I know about myself. And I know that I am an imperfect person living in an imperfect world. So I know that not everything is going to be unicorns and rainbows all the time. Not everything's going to be there are going to be people who hate me. There are gonna be people who just like can't even stand to see my face, and I'm fine with all of it. There are people who don't like to hear the sound of my voice. Sometimes I don't, but I'm getting very used to it because I've been on YouTube for a while, so I'm like, oh, okay, that's nothing now. But there are people who literally, like I said earlier, they might not like the way I chew. They may not like the way I look at them. They might not like whatever it is, but I've learned not to worry about those opinions that others have of me. If people encourage me, I love it. Yes, I do, because they actually do. Those encouraging comments that you all put, just those little simple things. Heather does this. She'll send me messages that she'll send it to Instagram or share it. She'll share it. I guess she like sends it. How she sends it to Instagram, and I'll see it. I'm like, oh, that was so encouraging, So you're right. You can build up somebody, and you can also tear somebody down. Which one would you choose to do, right? And if you're just like intentionally tearing somebody down to tear that person down and to make them feel terrible and have a bad day because misery loves company, man, shame on you. Shame on you, because why would you want to do that to another individual? Now, on the flip side, um, if you are trying to encourage and motivate that person just to get some type of gain, and I don't know, I just think about these things sometimes. Like if you're just saying something to people just for like, hey, I know what I want to get out of them, you want to be manipulative. That's the word. If you're just saying things to try to use it the next time against that person, or use or say something just for your advantage in the future, then also, uh, that's just manipulation. That's manipulation. When you do things, I think we talked about this before. We talked about this last Sunday, I think, maybe, or the Sunday before. My days kind of merged together. So when you do things, I just think do them out the kindness of your heart. Do it because you want to do it. Do it without expectation. And then, I've learned that if you're not looking for something else in return, then you're not going to be disappointed because you did it because you wanted to do it. And now you can't say, I only did it because such and such. Oh, I shared Jay Jordan out, and I'm just using him because he's an example. I don't think he'll get upset with me saying that. Oh, I shared him out because I know he's going to share me out. No, I didn't do it because I wanted him to do the same thing for me. I did it because I wanted to do it. I did it because I wanted him to get more visibility, or I wanted Ray to get more visibility, or I wanted Corn Fed to get more visibility. I wanted to help out because we're community based here. So my motive was not I'm doing it so that you can do it back for me. It was I'm doing it because I wanted to do it, right? And now I don't have any expectations of you. I don't. So when I don't see that you shared my stuff back, I'm like, oh man, I shared 10 of his videos. I don't care. I don't care. I could share 20 of your videos and you might not share any of mine. That's not gonna bother me because I did it with different intentions. I did it because I want to see you be successful. I want to see you grow. And then some people on the reverse side, I might not share your content because I don't agree with the content. So if somebody is on there, for example, and I've seen this happen, if somebody has a video, and again, to each his own, I'm not the ruler. I'm not somebody who can determine why somebody did something or what they did it, but I can determine what I share on my page. And if you're on a live, or if you have a video taking somebody down, like just going in on people, cursing them out, calling them everything, and just being nasty and negative, I'm not put that kind of stuff on my page. I'm not putting that kind of stuff on my page. Somebody else might, and that's their personal choice. But I'm just giving an example here. I'm not going to share that with people in my community because I don't want to put things out there like that. I'm putting things out that are going to be helpful as far as Oh, sorry, I got distracted, you all. I'm going to put things out that I think can help you develop and improve as a person. Jay, for example, does weight loss. If you want to lose weight, now you have his video right on my page. Click on it. Go run 10 miles. Go walk 10 miles. That's just going to make you a better person. Or if you have somebody who is saying something um, encouraging in that video, I will share that because I know that people need to be uplifted throughout the day. People want to see that there are positives and there are bright sides to living this life. And there are. And I'm one that, I look for the best in individuals. I look for the best in situations. I look for the best in my day. I know it says that you can command your day. Hey, she said, how are you? Thank you for coming in. And she said, if you want to drop your link, you know what to do, right? Just type GGJ, and that can be uppercase or lowercase. Now, I'm scrolling through these comments as I talk because I see that everybody's speaking. I see a comment. Love how you are so figurative with your speech. Oh, I can't even see, Ray. Flip the switch. Damage. Extended cray cray. Love it. Hope you start back with the word of the day. Ah, you know what, Ray? I need to do more of the word of the day. And let me tell you all a little secret. I need to do more of the word of the day for me. It is to help you all out if you need the help, because I'm not calling anybody out. I don't know who needs it, who doesn't. I'm saying I need it because I realized, like I told you all before, that my vocabulary is just, to me, sometimes it does that, and I want to be a person that's well versed. I want to be a person that can communicate well with others. And I know that increasing my vocabulary is going to be helpful because sometimes, have you ever been in a situation where you're like, sometimes you just don't know the word to say? I was in that situation today and I was like, what is the word I'm thinking about? What's the word I'm looking for? But if you have more of a vocabulary base, then you have more words to choose from. Now, for me, the issue with that is just trying to remember the vocabulary. And I know that means I have to be able to be in settings where I can use the vocabulary more. Most of the time I'm around my younger kids, and this has almost been like my life story. I kind of just temper my words down so that they can understand it. But I also tell them those more advanced words so that they know what they are. And I just explain it to them. But what I found is, because I've done that for years, and I was I just said that's another thing I need to do. No Andrea. Stop when I do that, I'm giving myself time to think and process, but I need to figure out a way. Maybe I can just pause, because I was watching this video, I think I told you all that, where the weather, where they were training, I keep doing it, where they were training people who speak on television. And instead of them filling in the gaps with words, saying, I'm just telling you, for example, saying and like and that you have to pause to give yourself time to think. The problem with me is the words in my head are moving so rapidly that sometimes they just come out. So I have to try to figure out a way to try to slow it down and then think of the actual vocabulary to fill in that space instead of just saying I don't really do like. I say and see. But my goal is to eventually get over that, because I realized that when you are communicating with others, sometimes that can be a distraction if you're saying like, and then there's going to be a disconnect where perhaps they don't want to listen to you anymore because you're saying because that's triggering them. That makes them feel like you have no idea what you're talking about, or that you have to have that time. And for me, if they said a whole lot, if somebody says it, that's them trying to gather their thoughts. I know, maybe I can relate because I've been there and I am there currently trying to work on it. So that's why I started doing the vocabulary in the first place, right? Because I think for those of you who know my story with my daughters, my husband and I, we're really big on education. In fact, one of my daughters just got accepted into, I want to say it, I don't know if she wants me to share, but I will just say it's another Ivy. So I have one in the Ivy currently and one that's going to an Ivy. I'm proud of them, but the way that they got there, I know was because we instilled those things in them when they were younger. I told you all we used to have competitions with them all the time. They had to do a speech. Um, I lost this. This is why I had to get back into doing vocabulary. So they had to do a speech. They had to like read something, write a report, and then come and present it to us because we know that that's something that you have to do in life, in business, in whatever. You have to be able to communicate effectively to people. So they did that as well as they had to learn 3 vocabulary words. And now that I'm saying that out loud, that probably was pretty heavy. I think at some point we had them learning 3 a week, but right now I'm trying to learn 1 vocabulary word a week. So maybe I will start back to doing that. And eventually, if you do 1 vocabulary word a week, you'll have 52 words for that year, right? 52 weeks in a year. So you'll have 52 words that are added to your vocabulary. Imagine that, you all. Isn't that a lot of vocabulary? And then you'll be able to speak better. You'll be able to articulate your position better. And you can have a conversation without saying because you have that spontaneous speech that you can use, the vocabulary words that you can pull, and you can use them in your conversation. The issue with me, like I said, is remembering. So I have to work on saying that word more throughout the week. Whatever opportunity I can use to say that word, I have to figure out saying that word, because that is, like I said, that's what we did with our daughters. They had to use that word for the whole week. They had to figure out how to use it when they were writing. They had to figure out how to use the word when they were speaking and all that. So I just started, I'm slacking. So I have to get back to that point. And yes, I did a vocabulary word, Bray. I did one in a short a few days ago. You may have seen it. You may not have. The word was, I was about to say it. I won't say it just in case you haven't seen it, but look at my latest short. You'll see it. So yeah, I'm kind of trying to ease back into the vocabulary word. I want to do it, but also when I did it, the other reason I stopped was because YouTube started forcing me into that category where they would just put me into vocabulary words and learning English. While I don't have a problem with that, I also want this channel to be more self-development, helping women, helping girls, men too. You are all welcome here. So I want it to be more of that. And I think that learning vocabulary is self-development and it's improvement. So I think maybe if I just do it as a short, I'm going to test it if I can do them as shorts and then still kind of be where I am in whatever side of YouTube, then that's how I'm going to go about doing it. But thank you, Ray. I'm glad you said that. So someone that just came in, I'm sorry, I can't see your name, but they said, which religion are you, my dear? If you answer, I will follow you. Okay, first of all, that almost sounds like a threat to me, but I'm not threatened by your question, so I'm going to answer it. I will tell you this, though. It doesn't matter to me if you follow me or not. That's your choice. Like, I would never want somebody to follow me just because I'm saying what my religion, what my preference. First of all, I don't really do religion anymore. I have a relationship with God. So I will tell you that I have a relationship with God, and that is what I base what and that is what I base my beliefs, my thoughts on. And if you want to follow me based on what my religion is, and I think I can understand what you're saying now that I think about it. I'm talking about it. Maybe you're saying that because you don't want me to say some things that you don't agree with or that are kind of unhinged or off the wall or whatever, if I don't have the same religious background as you, and that's quite all right. So feel free to move how you want to move. But what I will say is, don't feel obligated to follow me just because of that. You follow me because you feel like you want to follow me and you feel like what I'm saying is going to be helpful to you. If you feel like what I'm saying is mumbo jumbo and I'm just bop, 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 I would suggest that you don't follow me, because if you come back and you don't like what I have to say, you're going to unfollow anyway. So maybe just come around a couple more times and listen to what I have to say. Then you can decide whether or not you want to follow me. But I have a religious background and I was raised. Okay. Oh, it's my daughter. She's going to be coming out soon. Okay. Yeah. I'm a Christian. Let's just put it that way. I follow Christ, and I know a lot of people don't like that term Christian anymore, but for me, being a Christian is being Christ-like and trying to handle situations in a way that I would want to. Okay, I see your name now, Zach. I'll just say Zach. Zach, welcome. Welcome to Geeky Girls Journal. And I hope that you're enjoying the conversation to this point. But like I said, follow me if you want to follow me. If you don't want to follow me, don't follow me. I don't It's not gonna affect my day one way or the other, because those people who follow me, I think, want to follow me because they see that I'm a genuine person and they can get something from these conversations. Otherwise, they wouldn't be following me. So you make that decision for yourself. I really don't care. I'm just being honest. I don't care if you follow me or not. It doesn't matter. Ooh, that's my daughter. I don't know how I can answer that, but let me tell her I'm online. Sorry. Ooh, okay. I don't know. I can't answer her. I could answer her on my watch, I guess. Okay, let's see. So yeah, let's just say I'm a Christian. I am a Christian. I am a Christian. I believe in God the Father. I believe in God the Father. Let me just make sure it's real clear. Can you answer the phone though, because I don't know where you are? Okay, maybe I can answer from my watch. I'm sorry, you all. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that, you all. I had to answer my daughter. I moved the vehicle, as I told you all before. I moved my vehicle so she didn't know where I was. And I don't know. You might have heard the conversation. You might not, because it was on mute. I'm not sure. Okay, so Ray said, okay, so yeah, what I was saying is, just so that I'm clear and everybody knows where I stand as far as religion is concerned, or loving God is concerned. I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. If you'd like to ask me some questions about that later, feel free to do that, or put the question in the chat, the comment section, because what I have to do is go in a little while because I have to drive. My daughter's coming. So I'm going to be ending this in about 2 minutes. So yeah, that's what my beliefs are. I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And I was raised Kojic, if you know what that is, Church of God in Christ, but I am non-denomination. I currently go to a church that's non-denomination, but they are a Christian church. So, you hope that answered your question, Zach. So yeah, if you want to follow me based on that, go right ahead. If you don't, that's your choice. What I will say is that I do not, um, I'm not one of those who is going to beat somebody over the head because they don't believe in God, the same thing I do, because they don't believe in God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But what I will say is, if somebody comes into my chat talking crazy and talking against that, I will shut it down. That will definitely happen. Or I will just block you, or the moderator will block you, or I just won't have any conversations, or I'll just ignore you in the chat, because you have a right to believe what you want to believe. But what I'm saying is, I would not be disrespected in that sense. So if I feel like somebody's coming in acting cray cray and doing the most as it pertains to, you know, my love for Christ and Jesus, then that's pretty much their business, but I don't have to deal with it, and I won't. And again, I don't knock anybody for whatever they believe, because that's your life. I'm not God. That's not my job to determine what your thoughts are, and to determine who you serve, and to determine how you serve. That is not my call. That's not my place. I know what I believe, and I stand strong and I'm firm. I have a firm foundation, and I will not ever, ever, as long as I can in my life, I will not. Um, no matter what somebody says to me and how they try to convince me otherwise, I've been through enough experiences and things to know that there is a God, and I believe in that God. And like I said, I'm not here to beat anybody over the head. I'm not here to change anybody's perspective on what their thoughts are about Jesus. I will share mine, and I will also say things that might make you think about, you know, or might make you think otherwise if you're not a believer. So that's all. I'm just here to share if I'm supposed to share, and that's what I do. So I hope I answered that question. Next. Good morning. Hey, Matthew. How are you? Hope you're having a good day listening while doing chores. Thank you for listening. She said, I told my daughter, you all, that I was going to do this for 2 more minutes because we have to go to the next destination, which is a basketball game. So I do have to leave because I have to drive to the other side of town. Andrea, I had removed that comment. Oh, thank you, Jamie. You were right on top of it, and I didn't even realize. Thank you so much. And I'm sitting here answering. I would have scrolled down. I would have known I didn't even have to do that. What are you saying, Lisi? Sorry, I had to take a call. I missed a lot. Oh, it's okay. You listen, you gotta take a call and do what you have to do. I'm not upset about that. Life happens. Just like I had to take a call on this live. Frozen. She said I think you're saying that I froze in the volume. That probably happened when my daughter called me. So I have to I'm I you know what? I got to do this more often because I've had a great time with you all. Good morning, fabulous. I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm so glad you came in. Thank you so much. Um, I just said again. That is why I need these vocabulary words, you all. Okay, I'm going to end this video in 1.30 seconds. No, 1 minute 30 seconds. So I want to say this before I end it. If you all, because I want to see what I've already said my part about this, but if you would like me to do the vocabulary words, and I'll probably just do once a week. Once a week is what I could probably manage right now in a short. Let me know because I'm interested to think, do you all want to increase your vocabulary? I always talk about that, increase the vocabulary. So I do feel like I have some responsibility in at least sharing these words with you all, even if I can do it in 30 seconds. So if you'd like for me to do the vocabulary once a week, let me know in the comments section. And it doesn't have to be right now, but after the video, whenever you want to do it, just let me know and we'll see. We're going to bring it back because I have been asked it a few times and I need to call. My husband's calling me. I think it's time for me to go. Like I said, I have to get to my daughter's basketball. So I gotta go. Life has been lifing. I know. Yes, it has, fabulous. I know. I understand that. Okay, you guys, I gotta go because my daughter's waiting for me. My husband's calling me, and I have to get to a basketball game for a 7-year-old. So I know I better get off of this live. I'll jump back on. Oh, join us Sunday. I don't know what the topic is yet for Sunday. That's why I haven't put it up. I'm going to think about what that's going to be. Hopefully, I'll come up with something. If not, you guys just Sunday, and we can just talk about whatever we talk about. But we'll see. So okay, so she said yes, please. Okay, I will do it because I got a yes. Jamie said yes, please do the vocabulary, and I will. Okay, that's all I need. Anybody else have any thoughts, comments, concerns? Drop them in the comment section after this video. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me for this hour and 38 minutes. I gotta go because, like I said, I need to hurry up. My daughter's waiting for me, husband's calling me, and my other child is waiting for the basketball game. So hopefully we have a win today, you all. I will see you all in the next video, which is Sunday. That's tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you can't make it, don't feel bad about it. Just come back and replay the live. It's always going to be there. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Yes, have a great weekend. Fabulous. Have a great weekend. Everybody that's in here, all of you all, thank you so much. Hannah, I see you. Liz B, I see you. Thank you all for coming in. She said bye. Have a good rest of the weekend. See you all Sunday if you have the time to come in. Jump in, share this out with somebody else, and I'll see you all on Sunday. All right, have a good day.